right, John, this road trip continues. The Dodgers in D.C. for the middle game of this three-game series against the Washington Nationals. After they cruised in Game 1, they've won 8 of their last 9. A National League best 28-13 after a dominant win in Game 1. 10-1 was the final score. The bats came to life, and they had a great starting performance from Tyler Anderson. 8 innings, no runs.
He was absolutely outstanding last night. Mix out.
The offense exploded. The 5th time this season they've scored double-digit runs as they took the series opener from Washington. As we turn the page to Game 2, it's a good pitching matchup. Josiah Gray, who was part of the trade from the Dodgers to the Nationals for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, he takes it for the Nats. Walker Buehler goes for the Dodgers.
Well, Josiah Gray has had a solid season so far, especially the last 6 ball games, going 4-1 with the 2 ERA. Walker Buehler is looking to continue that road success and dominance and being able to command the baseball. Also looking about getting that fastball command and that velocity back up. But I'm expecting him to have another dominant start in the road tonight.
Yeah, it's been interesting. He's been okay, but by his standards, not quite as good as last 2 out. Even though he's coming off a win against Arizona, he'll try to get deeper into the game as he faces off with Josiah Gray. Dodgers looking for their 9th win out of their last 10 games. The Nationals hoping to avoid becoming the first team to 30 losses in baseball this year. We've got first pitch from Washington, D.C. coming up on Sportsnet LA. For another series win, look to make it 9 out of their last 10. Let's go to the field now with Kirsten Watson.
All right, guys. Well, today our Charmin Ultra Strong stat of the day, it goes to this team. Their record against the Nationals since 2019 is 8-0. They've had nothing but success against this team. Dave Roberts said that sometimes, look, back in 2019, they won the World Series. This team knows this, that better than any other team. There's a target on your back, and it requires you to play your best baseball. So when they come here, they do just that, guys.
All right, Kirsten, have those 8 consecutive wins overall against these Nationals. Keep at the top of the order last night. Betts, Freeman, and Trey Turner combined 7 RBIs and 4 unscored. It'll be the same group at the top of the order tonight. And then out of the cleanup spot, that's where things are a little bit different. Will Smith moves up there. Max Muncy's at second base hitting 5th. Justin Turner had the first day of the series off. He's in there at third base hitting 6th. Rios hit cleanup last night. Tonight he hit 7th. Taylor in center field for the 2nd time this year. And for Cody Bellinger, who is under the weather. Gavin Lux is in left, hitting 9th. It's Josiah Gray, who was part of the trade to the Nationals last summer. He had just debuted in the majors for the Dodgers. He was on the Dodger team plane, headed for Arizona, refreshing his phone, hoping that he wasn't part of the reported deal, but ultimately he was, and one of the key pieces.
And for good reason. Very talented right-hander with plus fastball, but also I think his favorite pitch that he likes to throw, and so far having success on that pitch, is the slider. That's a pitch that you're going to see a lot early in the count for strikes and in a finishing pitch. But as you can see, he'll mix in an occasional changeup, but the four-seam fastball, the big whooper-duper, and the slider is his arsenal.
24 years old out of New Rochelle, New York, making his 9th start of the year, and off we go with a fastball high on Mookie Betts, who went 2 for 3 last night with a walk and drove in 2, scored 2, leads the majors in runs scored by a wide margin. He's scored at least 1 run in 11 consecutive games.
Guy that's very comfortable right now at the plate and understands his role. And when you have a guy that's an MVP type talent setting up the rest of the lineup, it takes the pressure off the rest of the lineup.
On a 1-1 pitch from Gray, watches the slider miss outside, ball 2. There have been 4 guys that have scored runs in 12 consecutive games for the Dodgers throughout their history. The record is 13 straight games from the Hall of Famer Zach Wheat in 1925. And Betts is 2 shy of that. He's ahead 3-1.
Well, the way his season's going, I think he's going to have a couple cracks at that record.
The way his season's going and the way the seasons are going for the guys behind him that have a chance to drive him in. Betts leading things off on a 3-1 from Gray. He hits one in the air to straightaway center field. Thomas going back to the track to catch it. Right on the screws for the first out.
Loud noises already early in the ball game, and he hit it to the deepest part of the field, but that's always promising, especially seeing Mookie early in the ball game being able to let the baseball travel deep and hit it right back up the box with authority. And this is the top of the lineup. This is what they've been doing well, being able to put pressure on the starting pitcher and saying, hey, you're not going to be able to just get a feel of the command of the baseball early in the count. We're going to be on you.
They've scored more than 6 runs per game this month. This is the 5th time that they scored at least 10 last night, as Freddie Freeman takes a ball. And they did it without hitting for a ton of power. They didn't have a home run. They did it by going 7 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Just a relentless attack. Freeman was a big part of it with 3 hits of his own.
And to put that in perspective, they went 5 for 27 in the whole Phillies series. So to be able to bounce back after a tough loss and spread some joy, throughout that lineup and get back on the good foot. Nice to see those boys do it.
It's 2-1 on Freeman. 2 of his 3 hits last night were doubles. He leads the National League in doubles. He's 4th in the league in on-base percentage. On a 2-1 from Gray, Freeman takes high, ball 3. 3-ball counts on each of the first 2 hitters.
First time Josiah has faced his former club, so a little bit amped up. I think he's a little fired up, overthrowing the baseball, if you will. So that's common when you face a familiar foe.
Here he comes to the 3-1. That is a little bit high and in. Ball 4. First base runner for the Dodgers comes on a Freeman walk. And the guys about to face was another piece in that trade. It was Scherzer and Trey Turner headed to the Dodgers in exchange for 4 players, including tonight's battery for the Nationals. We've talked about Josiah Gray. Keibert Ruiz is the catcher for him in this one. And the initial talks centered around just Max Scherzer. They wanted Keibert Ruiz for that. Dodgers were like, okay, it's just for a 2-month rental. Obviously, Scherzer's deal was up at the end of the year. So then they started to bring Trey Turner along in the conversation. That's what opened the door for a guy like Josiah Gray's name to enter the picture. It became a much bigger deal that stole the headlines on that deadline day. Gray to Turner with a 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1.
Well, that's what happens when you have that type of depth in the minor leagues to give up a frontline prospect that you feel is close to being impactful for your ball club in the big leagues, and saying, I think we'll be okay and we'll get the 2-month rental and a position player that's one of the most talented guys as far as tools in the game.
And not just one major league ready prospect, but 2, with it being Gray and Ruiz. Fouled off, and it's 1-2. But after the trade last year, Josiah Gray was immediately plugged into the rotation for the Nationals. They were just kind of playing out the string to see what they had. He struggled. He had a 5.31 ERA. This year we saw the numbers, Dontrell. 4.36 ERA, not that impressive to look at, but he had 1 bad inning against the Astros. He gave up 5 runs in the first against Houston. You get rid of that 1 inning, and the ERA is a full point lower, looking at 3.5, which is better than league average. 2-2.
Coming off a start against the Marlins, and he didn't walk anybody. He was able to strike out 7 people. So when he has command of that slider, he's able to pitch backwards. It strikes with the slider as well as finishing people, and then mix in the fastball elevated.
Biggest issue for him has been homers since he debuted. Highest home run rate in baseball. that high fastball you're talking about. If you miss in the wrong direction, a lot of those are going to happen. Turner rips one down the line, foul. It's a fine line, right? An inch or two up, and it's probably going to get swung under. An inch or two down, and it's going to be put to the people.
Yeah, I like where you're going with JD. I like where you're going. You know, but that's, you talk about impact with the fastball up, but at the same time, you have to establish the hitter's eyes down, and that's why I've been saying it: live low, live long, and get the hitter to see the top half of the baseball and be able to hit it on the ground. And I don't care what era, that's always going to play, being able to throw the ball down in the zone.
Here's another 2-2. It's a fastball that's lifted to deep center field. Back goes Thomas. It's gone. Trea Turner with a 2-run home run in his old home against his old team. And the Dodgers lead 2-0 on Turner's third of the year.
Trea went to the people right there with that fastball, and we just got done talking about sometimes when that ball's elevated, and Josiah knew it right when it was hit. It's time to celebrate. And Trea letting those people know, allow me to reintroduce myself, you know.
Dodgers 2, Nationals nothing. Dodgers getting 2 in the first inning for the second consecutive game. A strike on Will Smith. And they do it with the long ball, something that has been the thing for Josiah Gray, but something that they didn't do last night as part of the 10-run attack. Oh, 0-2.
Just have to shake my head about the production at the top of the lineup. I know that the Angels have had, obviously, Shohei and Mike Trout be productive this year thus far, but Trea and Mookie and Freddie, man, that's, even as a starting pitcher, you can't pitch around all three of them. You know, and so when you're a starter and you're trying to fill out your command, and they just don't allow you to really get settled into the strike zone. So already 2 hard hit balls in the game.
Here's 1-2 to Will Smith. It's poked foul. Trea Turner and his buddies on the Nationals, when he was there, they used to call the Dodgers the Monstars. Space Jam. And now he's one of them.
Absolutely.
He's morphed into a Monstar. Gray to Smith. Another 1-2 is very high. Ball 2. Now, Trea Turner just extended his hitting streak to 16 games. Will Smith comes in with an on-base streak of 13 games. On a 2-2 from Gray. He digs it out, flips it into left center field. That'll get down for a base hit, extending his streak. Smith has reached in 14 in a row.
Second baseman number 13.
Nice piece of hitting by Smitty here, recognizing the breaking ball, elongating the swing, not trying to do too much with that pitch down. You could tell he's starting to get comfortable now. You can tell by the swings, he's not swinging as hard, and he's hitting the baseball to all fields.
So the only out in this game through 4 hitters was the ball that was blistered by Betts straightaway center. Gray not fooling anybody just yet. Runner at first, one gone. Max Muncy. Check swing and a high fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Muncy 1 for 5 yesterday. Two 2-0. Tenth home run allowed by Josiah Gray, and a lot of those have come here in May. Here's his 2-0. Ball 3. 25 pitches into the first inning. More balls than strikes. Still just 1 out. And a 3-0 count on Muncy, who still owns the #1 walk rate in the majors. Four-pitch walk. 4th consecutive base runner. And a visit already from the pitching coach, Jim Hickey.
Yeah, Jim needs to go out there and try to settle Josiah down. You can tell already this game is starting to speed up on him very quickly. And you've already witnessed in the first night that this Dodger lineup does not take their foot off the gas, and this game can get out of hand very quickly early.
With 1 away here in the first inning, runners at first and second. Justin Turner comes to the plate, and we check in with Kirsten.
Well, guys, you might notice today Justin's wearing his correct jersey with the number 10 on it, because yesterday, while the Nationals were giving a tribute to Trey and Daniel Hudson, he wore a Turner jersey with a number 6 on it. Trey told me that he gave Justin the jersey. He did not expect him to come out of the dugout wearing it, but he said that he just wants to provide the laughs for this team when he's not in the game, guys.
Mission accomplished yesterday. And when he's been in the games, he's been providing plenty as well. OPS near 1,000 over his last 12, and he's knocked in 16 in those 12 games. Got a chance at more here. Smith at second, Muncy at first, and he goes around, strike 1.
Fastball riding inside, and JT trying to hold up, but no cigar on that one.
Rides inside again, gets a swing and a miss. Oh, 0-2 pitch. From JoJo Gray. His father started calling him Juju, like Juju Smith-Schuster, and that evolved into JoJo eventually. With 2 on and 1 out, here comes Gray's 1-2 pitch. Good take by Turner. 2-2.
Not ideal for the Washington Nationals, already having Josiah Gray throw 30 pitches and only has 1 out. It's going to be a tough bullpen game if he's not able to get through the lineup 2 times today.
Fires a 2-2. Turner swats away a high fastball. Guys getting an opportunity with where this organization is at this point. Back-to-back last place finishes. We talked yesterday about the massive teardown, and they sent off all their key players, really with the exception of Juan Soto, at the deadline last year. And it opened up opportunities for guys like Gray. On another 2-2, it's another foul ball. They need guys like Gray, though, key pieces on returns of those tough moves that they made, to be good major league players for them.
Absolutely. I was Josiah Gray when I got traded over from the Cubs to the Marlins, and obviously a low-level prospect, but you still, as an organization, you need a couple of those guys to be able to land like Ruiz and be impactful in the big leagues. So controllable contracts, especially when you're not trying to fork out huge money yet to young players.
There's another foul ball. You're talking a little bit about Gray facing the team that, you know, he debuted with last year, knows a lot of these guys well. Was it hard for you to channel the emotions when you faced the Cubs? You obviously faced them in a very big spot right away.
Absolutely, absolutely. You want to try your best. You want to prove to the management watching that they made a mistake on passing up on you, but you also have to understand it's a business. And so, you know, this is an opportunity for you to really establish yourself. You might not have got a chance in LA to establish himself in the big leagues like he does now.
Another 2-2 is popped down the line. It's another foul ball. Ninth pitch coming to Justin Turner, who fell behind 0-2, and many pitches later he's still up there. 35th pitch of this first inning for Gray. Desperate for a ground ball. Guy that gets fewer ground balls than anybody in the league. He tries one more time and misses away to run the count full.
Rare to get this lineup to chase off the plate, and that pitch is very close, but JT's very comfortable with his strike zone awareness right now.
2 hits, 2 walks in the inning. 2 runners aboard with 1 gone, and a 3-2 from Gray to Justin Turner. Got him swinging. On the 10th pitch, Gray wins the battle and gets out number 2.
3 fastballs that took off inner half. It's almost like 3 identical pitches, and that was the only zone that Josiah could get JT out. Tying him up with the fastball running arm side at 96 miles an hour.
First strikeout of the game for Gray. 2 away in the first inning, and up comes Edwin Rios. It's the only Dodger without a hit last night. 0 for 5, 3 Ks out of the cleanup spot. Tries to lay off first pitch breaking ball and does. It's a rare off night for him with the stretch that he's had lately. Seems like every time he's in there, he's hit one in the seats. Pulled sharply foul.
Josiah 2 out of 7 with first pitch strikes. That's all the makings of a very long night, especially with this lineup that's poised right now. Not chasing out of the zone and making you be competitive with multiple pitches within the strike zone. You cannot just be one-dimensional against this talented Dodger lineup.
And no matter how settled in he gets moving forward, the damage done here, and that he's already thrown 38 pitches. His 39th is a 1-1 to Rios. Caught the corner, 1-2. How about this already? Action in the Nationals bullpen. Victor Arano. Gray comes home 1-2 and strikes out Rios to end the inning. But he has to throw 40 pitches to get through the first. The Dodgers get 2 on the home run from Trey Turner. And here comes Walker Buehler with a 2-0 lead. Nothing. The Nationals come to bat for the first time with a different looking lineup tonight. With the righty Buehler on the mound, Cesar Hernandez is back at the top to lead it off. Then Ruiz and Soto and Cruz. Same look through the middle part of the lineup. Yadier Hernandez in left, Maikel Franco, Lane Thomas, and D. Strange Gordon. First pitch of the night from Buehler to Hernandez is in there for a strike. Buehler's coming off a game against Arizona where he gave up just 2 runs over 5 innings, but still just a little off, just not quite the dominant Walker Buehler that we've grown accustomed to seeing. And if you talk to Walker, if you look at the numbers, if you just watch, it's pretty clear that the biggest drop off is on his fastball.
Yeah, the velocity is not where he wants it to be. Usually a guy at 96 to 98 miles an hour, a lot of 94s, 95s.
That one is punched the other way. Trey Turner with a tough play, and Hernandez beats the defense. Leadoff hit.
Hernandez doing a good job of just hitting the ball the other way, and enough high bounces to give him enough time to get up the line, but Trey doing his best to try to make that play close.
So what do you see with Walker when it comes to the fastball? And did you go through stretches like that in your career where it pitched like that? And I know yours wasn't 95, right, but where you just didn't quite have it.
Mine was more of the command problem, you know, when I went to Detroit, but I wasn't always a max effort guy, but Walker's a max effort guy, and what that means is every pitch he's trying to give it his all, and sometimes you have to just back off and get a feel of the baseball out in front.
Ruiz goes down the line. That's a fair ball into the corner. Hernandez busts him towards third as Betts guns it in. A double for Keibert Ruiz, and the Nationals are at second and third, 4 pitches in.
Yeah, that seems to be the game plan, that teams are hunting the fastball early in the count off Walker. And again, that's like we talked about Josiah. You're a starter in that first inning. You're trying to get a feel of your release point, your command of your stuff, and the strike zone. And the pitcher doesn't know what kind of stuff he possesses if the hitters don't allow it to get to the glove. So that's the game plan, especially how talented Walker's secondary pitches, the changeup, the slider, the breaking ball is. They know they have no chance at it, so they have to hunt the fastball early in the count.
The Dontrell Nationals team that didn't get a base runner until the 6th inning last night has second and third, 2 batters in as Juan Soto takes the ball. What a matchup this is. Walker Buehler against Juan Soto. 2 guys lacking confidence. Obviously kidding. Soto to second. Muncy will throw him out, but the Nationals get on the board as Hernandez comes in to score. Soto gets the RBI. Ruiz takes third, and Nelson Cruz comes up against Buehler.
Important for the Nationals to get on the board. 1 or fewer runs in 13 games. That's second most in Major League Baseball. So they've had trouble, especially at home, being able to generate run production.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they scored 8 runs in the final game of their most recent road series against the Brewers on Sunday, but then they come back here to Nationals Park where they're barely 2.5 runs a game.
Tough to win. Tough to win when you're not sending guys to the home plate, especially how talented this division is, where they have firepower in Atlanta and New York, Philadelphia. Got to be able to put pressure on opposition, and so far they've done that to Walker Buehler.
Cruz is hitting above 300 over his last 15 games after a slow start. Swings and misses at the cutter. And it's 2-1. The guy's hit more home runs than anybody in baseball over the last decade. 30 or more each of the last 7 full seasons. This for a guy who didn't become an everyday big leaguer until he was 28 years old. Been traded 3 times by that point. Look at the numbers he's accumulated as he finally got that chance.
That's a lot of thumping right there. That's a lot of squared up baseballs.
On a 3-1 from Buehler, he chases a cutter, and it's 3-2.
Like that pitch from Walker, and being able to throw that baseball with conviction, and he had the effort level like he was going to throw a 4-seam fastball. And when you're able to use that cutter off that fastball, you're going to get a ton of swing and misses like that.
Ruiz at third, 1 gone. Buehler to Cruz with a 3-2. That's singled through the right side, and it's 2-2. Cruz drives in Ruiz. Back at square one.
Veteran hitter in Cruz understood that he might come back with that same cutter. This one caught more of the plate, and Cruz hit it where it was pitched. RBI single.
453 career home runs, but the ability to do that too. Tied at 2, and here's Josh Bell. Snapped an 0 for 24 slide with 2 hits last night, and is in the top 10 in the National League, hitting .296 even with the 0 for 24 in there. That's hard to do when you're just 42 games into the season, have a stretch like that, and still have an average up there. That's a base hit through the middle. 4th hit of the first inning against Walker Buehler. Here's the throw to third. It gets by Turner. Up to second goes Bell. And the ball actually got out of play. So Cruz is going to come in to score, and Bell gets third.
Bell hunting the fastball. You're already seeing from the Nationals what the game plan is against Walker. Every time Walker's throwing a fastball, they've given their A swing. So Walker's going to have to make an adjustment very quickly to be able to start mixing in the breaking ball to get guys off balance.
So it goes into the netting over there after it hits the base coach, which is in play in that instance. Yadiel Hernandez takes first pitch curve for a strike. And it becomes 2 bases from the time of the throw. So Cruz scores. Bell to third. And Yadiel Hernandez, who's hitting .319, is at the plate. Oh, 0-2. Opponents actually, in terms of average, better against Buehler the first time around. High fastball, 1-2.
Like that sequence though so far from Walker Buehler, being able to mix in a breaking ball for a strike, get Hernandez to chase a breaking ball, and then all of a sudden the velocity comes back at 97 at the top of the zone.
Here's a 2-2 to Hernandez. He's going with a heavy dose of curveballs on 34-year-old out of Cuba. Everyday player for the first time. Debuted at the end of 2020. Got a chance last year. Debuted 1 month shy of his 33rd birthday. Became the oldest rookie in franchise history. Back to their Montreal days. Days later, Yadiel hit his first home run. It was a walk-off homer against the Phillies. Down swinging on a high fastball. Buehler turns it up to 97 to get his first K.
That's the fastball we know and love from Walker, being able to stay behind the baseball. Perfect throw at the letters.
First one for the Dodgers tonight. If they get 10, everybody gets that jumbo jack tomorrow.
You get a jumbo jack and a W.
They always go better with each other. It's just like, you know, fries with the burger, right?
Fresh fries. Get it right, JD. Fresh.
Maikel Franco pops the first one up right side of the infield. Freddie Freeman is there, and the inning is over. But the Nationals score 3 times on 4 hits against Buehler. All kinds of action through an inning. After 1 inning, And man, it's like Josiah Gray finds himself in a new world as he goes back out there. Needed 40 pitches to get through the first inning, but here he is in the second with the lead. 8-9-1 coming up. Chris Taylor leads off. Strike one. A go-ahead run scored for the Nationals on what is ruled an E8 on Taylor on the throw. Just his second game in center field this season, starting for Cody Bellinger, who's under the weather. It's 1-2.
New ball game for Josiah Gray. You could tell he's trying to just calm himself down, really get a feel of the baseball. Say one pitch at a time.
For the former college shortstop, and Josiah Gray. Taylor yanks a base hit in the left field. Leadoff single for Chris Taylor. He's got a knock in both games in this series. Already the fifth base runner for LA.
Nice piece of hitting by CT. A backup slider. Didn't have the depth change, and he didn't try to do too much at the plate. Strong enough to just barrel that baseball, especially with 2 strikes, and keep the line moving. Might be having one of those games.
Leadoff man on. Here's Gavin Lux. Had a couple 2-strike hits last night. Reached 3 times, scored 3 times out of the 9 spot. He takes ball 1 from Gray.
We're calling him Mr. 2 strikes.
Uh-huh. Gray from Central New York. Was hardly recruited in high school. He only had 1 offer. He's from a Division II school, Lemoyne College, and the only reason that he really got an offer from there was the coach had gone to watch another kid and got tipped off on Gray. Said, take a peek at this shortstop. Pretty talented player. Pitches a little bit. Otherwise, he was probably done playing baseball after high school, but he gets his chance in Division II ball. Goes there playing mostly shortstop. He throws a little bit. He's mid to high 80s. Worked out of relief as a sophomore, but then he got bigger, he got stronger, the velocity ticked up. He went to the Cape Cod League, dominated there, made the rotation for the first time when he was a junior at a Division II school, and then went 11-0 with a 1.25 ERA. And between showing out in the Cape Cod League, putting up those numbers that you couldn't ignore regardless of the level, he became a second-round pick 1 year later.
It's amazing what you can do with just a little bit of opportunity and trust and belief in yourself. And so you hear nothing but good, positive words about him in the Dodger organization with people that have worked with him. Say he's a tremendous worker and a really good teammate, so I'm not surprised at all.
Takes high. Lux does. Ball 3. Gray comes home with a 3-1. That is inside. Ball 4. Already the 3rd walk issued by Gray. And the first 2 Dodgers reach here in the second. 8-9 in the order, teeing things up for Mookie Betts.
Yeah, Josiah a little frustrated with that call. He wanted that call, especially in the inner half. But when you're erratic all over the strike zone, those 50-50 pitches, they're going to lean towards the hitter until you establish that you can really command the baseball within the strike zone, because it's also a rhythm between the catcher, the pitcher, and the umpire too, to say, okay, now my eye know where this ball's going to be in the zone and what have you.
Betts lined out his first time to deep center field. Here he takes a strike. The Dodgers got Mookie Betts in a deal where one of the key pieces that went to the Boston Red Sox was acquired in the same deal that they acquired Josiah Gray in. It was Jeter Downs, who came over from Cincinnati along with Gray, in the deal that sent Puig and Kemp and Farmer and Alex Wood to the Reds. So the Dodgers, the two big prospects they got in that deal, they flipped one of them for Betts. They flipped the other for, along with others, Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. Betts went around, and it's 0-2.
That's also the importance of developing high-level prospects, not only for your future of your own organization, but you can use them as pieces to get impactful players in the big leagues that can help you win now. So Andrew Friedman and company are the real MVPs of being able to pull the triggers, and also trusting the development in the minor leagues to do the job the right way, to continue to every single level. And I'm blessed to be a part of this organization, special assistant to the farm director, which we're still trying to figure out what that really means, but
it means doing color on the TV broadcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the talent level for every level, there's going to be a lot of talent coming through Chavez Ravine for the next years to come.
A 1-2 to Betts is pulled down the line to deep left field. That ball's gone. Mookie Betts stays red hot. Dodgers retake the lead.
You know, if I'm Dave Roberts, how do you give him a day off? I mean, honestly, like, the way that he is covering pitches from line to line, and it doesn't matter if it's a four-seam fastball or a backup slider, you're seeing it firsthand. He's the best player on the field, and it's almost high school-esque, where you go up against a guy and it's just like, there is nothing I can do to stop him.
It's like Dontrell banging bombs up in Oakland.
Talk to me, JD.
Caught in left field.
Talk to me.
Hernandez.
I didn't say it, you did.
I did. The Betts with 11 home runs now, tied for the National League lead after, again, he was not that good over the first few weeks of the season. So all these numbers he's putting together have come in a very concentrated stretch.
I don't remember him not being that good.
It's hard to fathom with how he's swinging it right now, how his full game is. Turner, who had a home run of his own his first time up there, fouls this one off. And it's 0-1. Trey's home run was his third this season, and it had to feel good coming against his old squad.
Getting a fastball over the plate, stood up on him too. He knew he got that. Somebody need to get some Geico insurance, because that ball was squared up.
So it's off the end of the barrel. Out goes Strange Gordon to put Turner away. Dodgers up 5-3, top of the second. A couple home runs against Gray.
Mookie's 6 home run in the last 11 games. I mean, but what do? You can't pitch around him to get to Freddie, and you can't pitch around Freddie to get to Trey. I mean, you know, as a starting pitcher, usually circle 1, maybe 2 guys that you say, I can't let him beat you, but you can't circle 6 out of the 9 guys.
It's Will Smith with 2 gone, taking a strike. Yeah, I'm going to walk the bases loaded and then take my chances with Will Smith.
Hopefully I get a hard hit ground ball at someone or a line drive. Never heard that in a game plan meeting.
Smith singled his first time, extended his on-base streak to 14 games. It's a rare chase from the guy that does that less than anybody in baseball. And he gives Gray his 3rd strikeout, but a 3-run home run for Mookie Betts, 11th of the season. The Dodgers are back in front. Well, Walker Buehler again with a 2-run lead as he misses away to the 8-hitter Lane Thomas. Both these pitchers getting new life early on in this game. Two 2-0.
Starting to feel like a start for both these guys of who can outlast who. Guy's not showing the best command, but still got to be able to get out.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Walker Buehler, over his last 2+ starts now, spanning 11 innings, has given up 10 runs on 19 hits. 3-1 on Thomas. Eight, 9-1 coming up for the Nationals. Saw what happened to Josiah Gray when he had trouble with the 8 and 9 hitter. It turned into a big problem. Betts hitting the home run. And Buehler walks the 8-hitter to open the second.
Stream out-of-market regular season games live or on demand, plus MLB Big Inning and select pregame and postgame coverage. Blackout and other restrictions may apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Dodgers 5, Nationals 3, and D. Strange Gordon, 34 years old now. In his first season with the Nationals, of course, debuted with the Dodgers in 2011. All-star form in 2014 before he was traded to the Marlins, where he won a batting title. Hit .333 in 2015. And to the Mariners, was there from 18 through 20. But this chance with the Nationals here, his first chance in the majors in 2 years. Pulls this one sharply into right, base hit, and 8 and 9 both reach.
Yeah, D getting on top of this fastball up in the zone, and just can't pitch there, especially when you're behind in the count. When the hitters are able to see the whole baseball, I don't care who you're going up against, they're going to give their A swings, and so far the Nationals are doing that.
Well, the Nationals, Dontrell, have scored fewer than 3 runs in 14 of their 21 home games. They got 3 in the first inning today. It's ball 1 on Hernandez.
A couple things I'm seeing here. One is the game plan. I think that the Nationals have the game plan. They're going to hunt the fastball. You're seeing all 5 hits have already been on hard stuff, whether it be four seam or sinker or cutter. So that seems to be the game plan thus far.
Wild swing and a miss there from Hernandez.
The second thing is Walker's mechanics seem to be off, and a couple pitches ago he screamed out of frustration because he just doesn't feel comfortable over the rubber and just not having the ability to get the ball downhill.
Curveball, 1-2. The league hitting just .156 against that pitch this season. Talk about the issues with the fastball. Everything else has been dominant. The league hitting .147 against non-fastballs for Walker Buehler. Fastball is sent down the left field line. Lux is over to make a play in tight quarters. Runners hold, 1 away.
Nice play by Gavin, realizing how much room he had, especially with the little cutout at the wall right there, giving himself time, gathers, And also having the awareness of runners on the base, just in case they want to tag, getting the ball in the infield very quickly.
First and second, one away. 5-3 game, bottom two. And here's Keibert Ruiz, who hit a bullet his first time for a double and came in to score. 23-year-old catcher for the Nats. First pitch curveball, strike one.
That's the whooper duper we know and love right there. But the game gets on you and you emotionally speed up and you want to fight harder, but sometimes you have to learn to back your mechanics off and your tempo, if you will, and just say, hey man, I just want to see this baseball out in front and be able to steal a strike early in the count.
Throws it again, 0-2.
Now the key is the effort level has to be the same on the fastball, and I truly believe that's why the league is having success. It's fastball command within the zone, and oftentimes when you want to overthrow the baseball, you lose some of that command and sharpness.
Back-to-back curves to start Ruiz, and then a fastball. Ball out of hand, ball one.
You see that effort though? A little harder, tries a little bit harder to make sure that he can throw through the target, but that's what we call a non-competitive pitch. It's a ball out of the hand.
Now the 1-2.
I mean, I get it. When you're a Ferrari, you don't want to go slow. When you possess the talent and the firepower that Walker has, you don't necessarily want to slow yourself down.
Change up is swatted down the line. Lux again is over there. This time not going to get there, because when he's good, it's largely why he's good, that explosiveness. Heard Oral talk before about when you are the Ferrari, when you are the sports car, it can be harder to get everything tuned up.
Yeah, balance is key, and no one was better in this era than Oral Hershiser, especially with the mechanics. So you have to be in tune with the way your body moves, especially Oral's high leg kick. So for him to be consistent and successful, you have to play at a certain tempo.
Full count on Ruiz. Oral would also be the first to tell you he was not a Ferrari. So a little easier to tune it up.
He was a bad man in his own way, though. Like, you know, he was a bad man in his own way, and he understood how to get hitters out. He understood how his stuff played to the hitter, and that's half of it. I mean, I've thrown a lot of balls by people at 89 miles an hour. So, you know, that's half of it.
He's a bad Chevy.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss on a curveball as Buehler finishes off Ruiz.
Oh, man, if he's a Chevy, I don't know what I am. Oh, my goodness.
Second K for Buehler.
Great tilt on this breaking ball. There is nothing that Ruiz can do with that, especially when the bottom falls out of that. Well executed.
So 2 on, 2 out, and it's Juan Soto. Knocked it a run in the first inning. 8 homers, 14 RBIs.
Good pitch.
Rolled to second. Muncy charges, gobbles it up, and gets in to finish off the second.
Dodger Stadium on Memorial Day, Monday, May 30th, and the Dodgers open a 3-game series against the Pirates. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
Okay, Kirsten, back in Washington, D.C., where the Dodgers have gotten home runs from Trey Turner and Mookie Betts and lead Josiah Gray and the Nationals 5-3. Max Muncy starts the third and takes ball one. Walked his first time. It's one of the 3 issued by Gray. That's a strike, 1-1.
Max, even though offensive struggles this year, he's still able to get walks, and I'm still positive that he understands where his strike zone is. He just needs to start barreling some baseballs.
Get his foot down and let that thing sink.
Man, talk to me. Talk to me. A lot like Mookie in the first month, where you saw him swinging through pitches and he's looking back like, kind of like, man, I know I can cover that pitch. I don't know what's going on. And so I think that's the more frustrating feeling when you're recognizing the pitches that you should be attacking, more so than this being overmatched and not seeing the baseball, if you will.
Gray kicks and fires. Strikes him out with a well-located high fastball. Fourth punch out for Gray. One gone in the third.
Good four-seam fastball at the top of the zone. Max just sees it, knows he can cover it, but this a little bit early, a little bit late. I'm sorry, excuse me.
First of those 4 strikeouts came against Justin Turner. That one hits him. Backs up right into the elbow guard.
Backup slider that just got away from him. JT making use of that nice arm guard, that's for sure.
Easiest base he'll get.
National starters have struggled mightily so far in this series and not really giving De Martinez a lot of help. 11 earned runs. 7 innings pitched so far.
Edwin Rios swings and misses in front of 82-mile-per-hour pitch. Rios struck out his first time in this series. Is 0 for 6, 4 Ks. Gray's 0-1. Ball 1. Dodgers getting a head start on Padres and Giants both. Padres playing the Brewers tonight after beating them in extra innings last night. Padres have won 8 of 10. 28-14, second best record in the National League, half game back of the Dodgers. They send Blake Snell to the mound for his second start of the year tonight. Corbin Burns counters for the Brewers. Giants dropped a 13-3 game to the Mets for their 5th consecutive defeat.
Yeah, I think those injuries to Belt and company are really going to hurt them offensively, not being able to score runs, and that puts a ton of pressure on the pitching staff to have to play perfect, and you oftentimes you do not. So kind of a tough stretch for the Giants.
Got Logan Webb going tonight against Chris Bassett, who's off to a good start in his first year in New York. Here's a 1-2 from Gray to Rios. Bottom falls out, and he gets Rios swinging for the second time.
Good slider by Josiah, being able to throw that pitch belt high, and the bottom drops out of it. Nothing that Eddie can do but just look at it and swing over it.
A native of Virginia Beach, not too far from Washington, D.C., Chris Taylor. Former Virginia Cavalier. Singleton scored last inning. Goes around in a first pitch slider. Chris is in the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. His dad is in the Virginia Tech Sports Hall of Fame as a wrestler. Sister was a cheerleader at Virginia Tech. Chris is the only non-Hokie in the family. The Virginia Tech didn't really recruit him.
That's a lot of conversations at the barbecue pit behind that decision, I'm sure, at home. A lot of talented ball players coming out of Virginia. Justin Upton, obviously B.J. Upton, Justin Verlander, Ryan Zimmerman, national great. You know, there's a lot of talent that come out of Virginia.
No balls, 2 strikes. Gray delivers. Taylor takes the ball. Chris's dad was in Philadelphia and is watching him here in D.C. as well.
Always nice to get your foot down in front of Pops. Hit the ball hard the other way last night and already got himself a hit today, so starting to feel more comfortable at the box. He was another guy kind of in that early in the season of needing him to get going and feel comfortable, so nice to see.
Fights this one off, stays alive at 1-2. That hit the other way last night was a triple. Drove in a run. He scored a run. Two and two. "74 pitches through 2 2/3.
That's one of those starts where you're like, this cut me like Balboa. Just get me through it.
Taylor hits one hard, right center field. Back goes Thomas, out of room. It's gone. 3rd home run for the Dodgers. Chris Taylor does get his foot down in front of Dad and hammers his 4th home run of the year.
And to the people, Oppo Pop. Talked about that a couple weeks ago. You have to hit the ball to all field. The biggest part of that is trust and pitch recognition, and another fastball by Josiah up in the zone. Elevate and celebrate, baby.
We've talked about this plenty. That is where Chris Taylor knows he's right, when he's hitting the ball hard the other way. His triple went in that direction last night. Now the home run. Each of his last 2 home runs have gone the other way. So 7-3, Dodgers in front.
He's strong enough to hit that ball like that on a consistent basis, but when you're not feeling comfortable, you get often pull happy and you start to, your barrel starts to get in and out of the zone quicker than you want to. So nice piece of hitting.
1 ball, 1 strike on Lux. Knocked the glove off the hand. Lux walked in, scored last inning. Dodgers getting 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. Two and two. The Dodgers, Dontrell, in 12 innings in this series have scored in 8 of them as Arano warms again.
I mean, that's been the story for this national staff of just allowing a league lead.
That ball's
Amount of
pummeled on the
runs.
line to right, but it hangs up for Soto and ends the inning. 3 innings, 3 home runs against Josiah Gray. This one from Chris Taylor. It's his 3rd in his last 12 games. Dodgers looking for their 9th win out of their last 10. They lead by a bunch already. Nelson Cruz starting the 3rd for the Nationals. He took strike 1 from Walker Buehler. And now chops one to 3rd for Justin Turner. 1 away. The Dodgers making life difficult on old friend Josiah Gray, who's given up a home run in each of the first 3 innings. 7 runs, 80 pitches through 3.
Well, he's not made it easy for himself, especially being behind virtually every hitter that he's seen. He's got to do a better job of getting strike 1 and getting ahead of his Dodger hitters.
And they once again give Walker Buehler a lead to work with, growing it to 4. Josh Bell singled his first time. He takes ball 1 and a curve. Buehler gave up 3 runs in the first inning. First 2 reached against him in the second, but then he went 1-2-3 to keep him from scoring. It's in on Bell. Roller to Muncy. 2 up and 2 down.
Heard Dave Roberts talk about having Walker be able to pitch and not throw, and this is a good situation for him to try to put together some sequences and settle in.
Pounds it with a fastball. Strike 1. And now a curve that Hernandez goes around on. Yadiel Hernandez struck out his first time. It's one of the 2 for Buehler. Who's home with a 1-2 pitch? Two. On the ground to Muncy. 3 ground outs and a 1-2-3 third. Top of the order coming up for the Dodgers. Mookie Betts will lead it off. He hit his 11th home run of the season earlier tonight. Tied for the National League lead. Betts, Freeman, and Turner after this. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. Sink your teeth into the new Primal menu and Beyond Raptor at Carl's Jr. Feed your happy. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop NissanUSA.com. 3 innings, 3 home runs for the Dodgers. They got 1 in the first inning from Trey Turner. This man here, Mookie Betts, went deep in the second, and then Chris Taylor in the third. All those put them together. They've chased Josiah Gray from the game already, and Victor Arano comes on to pitch.
Arano, a strike thrower, as you can see, the 22K to 4-walk ratio. He's going to have to do some work today to be able to get to the lineup at least once.
First guy that he faces, this is not a soft landing. Mookie Betts with his National League leading 11th home run. A 3-run shot in the second.
He continues to show everyone that he's going to stay on the barrel. It doesn't matter if it's a fastball or a breaking ball. Better stop playing with this young man.
Yeah, with that, Dontrelle, he's now scored a run in 12 consecutive games, which is one shy of the franchise record held by a Hall of Famer named Zach Wheat. Back in the 1920s, Wheat scored a run in 13 consecutive games. Not a name you hear a ton about, but he is the all-time leader in Dodger history in hits, in RBIs, in doubles, in triples. Zach Wheat. That is ball one on Betts, who will be hunting for a share of that record with Wheat tomorrow. Yeah, that was an era back in the teens and the early 20s before Babe Ruth really took off as a hitter, when everybody played small ball, right? Bunting was kind of in vogue. Hit them where they ain't. Wheat was one of the first guys, right along with Babe Ruth, to say, I'm swinging away. I'm getting my foot down.
And
he was saying back
back then.
Yeah. So he wasn't always really a star, but his style kind of became more in vogue as his career went on. He was ahead of his time and trying to hit for power. He's also one of the first guys to leverage his team into paying him more money. Betts hits one in the air, left field, deep again. It is gone again. Second home run of the game for Mookie Betts, who is on another planet right now. He is alone in first in the National League with 12 home runs.
The same backup slider. Just dropped the barrel on it, supplied the power. And if you saw in that shot, when they shot the dugout, everyone is just in amazement. And that's how talented he is. All the stars that they have on that bench, and they still say, man, this guy is unreal when he is locked in. He is the best in baseball. You're talking about Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto.
Freeman now pokes one to left. Hernandez with a diving try, and he caught it. Great play by Yadiel Hernandez. Take a hit away from Freeman. Hopefully he's okay. Flexing that hand and wrist around.
Ball falling away from Hernandez and being able to stay poised. Use his free hand to brace himself on the dive. Nice play.
Yeah, Mookie Betts very much back to doing something every night that makes you say wow, which is what he was doing when he was healthy 2020 and before that in Boston. And it's as if he is on a rampage here to prove last year was the anomaly. Last year really was a product of everything he was dealing with physically. Never really was himself. You know, the other thing that's not talked about enough, I think, with Betts last season, not just how diminished he felt at the plate, but the fact that the injuries were keeping him from doing that pregame work that we hear about. That is a big part of what makes him him. The extra time spent working on his swing, the extra time spent working on his fielding craft. He couldn't do those things like he normally does.
A lot of baseball players, I take that back. Majority of the baseball players live on their routine, whether it be the meals they eat, the routes to work, you know, how they get their body ready. And so when you don't have that, you feel uncomfortable, you don't feel as confident. And I think that's what he battled with last year.
Two and two on Trey Turner.
But he's starting to cross a threshold right now where hitters are going to, I mean, pitchers are going to have to say, I'm going to have to attack Freddie Freeman. How about that?
Yeah. It's the kind of problem the Dodgers envision giving teams, kind of nightmares they envision pitchers having when they put this lineup together. Rolled it to short. Strange Gordon gets Turner. And a word from Carl's Jr.
This summer, prime rib is the star. Bite into the new Primal Angus Thick Burger or Beyond Raptor at Carl's Jr. See Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th.
So he's one shy of Zach Wheat. It started to tell you that Zach Wheat was one of the first guys to leverage his team into paying him more money. How did he do it? Well, in the winters, Zach would go home to Missouri where he raised mules, and then he put together a successful business where he would sell these mules to the Army. Army would use them as pack animals during World War I. This ball's fly to left center field. Hernandez is there to end the inning, and he basically said, look, how bad do you want me? Because if you don't want me that bad, I'll just stay here and keep raising mules.
That's an awesome story.
He got his money. Mookie Betts got his too. 8-3, Dodgers in front. 2 home runs for the superstar, Mookie Betts. 2 of them tonight.
Went to the well too many times, and that's the same pitch, 2 different pitchers in the same zone, same result. So no more backup sliders down and into Mookie. Check.
Maikel Franco starts the 4th for the Nats against Buehler and pulls it on the ground. Backhand Trey Turner. Heck of a play for the first out. Strong arm to finish that thing off.
Gave himself time too. JD slid on the knee, popped up, gave him a glove tap so he had a good grip. Casual.
Lane Thomas walked his first time. You get the sense that Trey Turner is relishing the chance to come back to D.C. and play the team that traded him.
He looks comfortable. A lot of smiles. Getting his foot down, making plays.
He said he was completely caught off guard by the trade last year. We talked about how it happened while he was on the COVID IL, so he didn't get a chance to say bye to anybody. He was getting all his news like we all were, just refreshing Twitter, and found out that he'd be on the move. But you consider the fact that he had a whole nother year in his contract. He just didn't envision a world where that would happen. No ill will, no hard feelings, but it's definitely something that caught him off guard. And Trey has said, look, if it's going to happen, this is a pretty darn good situation to have it happen or have him fall into.
It's always business. You know, you love it. You pour your heart into it. Obviously, that's how you get to the big leagues and stay in the big leagues. But as a guy that's been traded, you know, you understand that it's a business model as well, and just have to keep on playing good baseball. I was in Mexico when I found out I got traded.
Yeah?
Yeah, that margarita hit different. That margarita a little bit different when well, they're going to have to wait for me to go to Detroit because I'm going to enjoy this sun in Cabo.
Strike 3 called on Thomas. 3rd for Buehler.
Walker starting to go to the 2-seam, and you're seeing the arm level drop a little bit. Well executed sinker right there down in the zone.
Well, 6 of 9 reached against Walker Buehler first time through the lineup, but he's retired all 8 second time through. And a curveball being used more than any other pitch tonight. B. Strange Gordon lofts the first one to Betts and right. And that is 9 in a row retired by Walker Buehler. Wherever you are, and by your Southern California Toyota dealers. 8-3 have gotten a home run in all 4 innings in this game. Walker Buehler has settled in after the 3 first-inning runs for the Nats. Joe Dontrell and Kirsten back here in D.C. Into the game to pitch for the Nationals. 3rd pitcher they've used is the left-hander Josh Rogers, who has a chance to give him some length. He's made a couple of starts and he's given him more than an inning here and there. 5, 6, and 7 coming up for the Dodgers in this inning. Max Muncy, a strikeout and a walk in this one. Swings at the first pitch, sends a fly ball to center field, but playable for Lane Thomas. And 1 pitch, 1 out here for Rogers. Series will wrap up tomorrow, a little bit earlier start time. It'll be 1 o'clock Pacific. Julio Urias goes for the Dodgers and Eric Fedde for the Nationals. And then it's back for 4 with Arizona. And they just swept in a 4-game series to finish off the homestand. Now they return the favor with 4 in Phoenix. Turner got hit by a pitch last inning, came in to score on the Chris Taylor homer. Kind of a fun little dance that Rogers does before letting that ball go.
Rocking back and forth, give himself some rhythm on the mound.
Even when he's getting the signs.
Yeah. It's amazing what you develop trying to pitch and keeping yourself calm and relaxed and in rhythm with your mechanics and stuff. So it's and this is coming from a guy that used to kick his leg over his head. So, you know, I think I have a little room to talk about the quirkiness of pitching.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Justin Turner. Rogers comes home. Turner punches a bouncer to second for Cesar Hernandez. Soft hands, 2 away.
Veteran move by Hernandez to recognize the hops, and he was in between, so he gave himself a couple steps back to get the good hop and made that play easier than what it looked like.
2 away for Rios. Strike 1 from Rogers, who debuted with the Baltimore Orioles, handful of games 2018 and 19, had an ERA above 8. 2020 didn't pitch in the COVID season. He got a chance with the Nationals last year and had a 3.28 ERA in 6 starts. That's when he started doing this little wiggle and dance in his delivery. He said it felt good. He felt like it was maybe messing with the timing of the hitters, and bottom line, he was getting the results, so he kept on doing it. "27 years old, out of Indiana, New Albany, Indiana. Went to Louisville.
Good baseball program at Louisville.
Obviously produced Will Smith. It's 2-2 on Rios.
Rogers has a really good sweeping breaking ball, and see how he, with the wind up and the mechanics and with the stuff that he possesses, it's very uncomfortable at bat.
It's like, when's he going to go? When's he going to? Oh, here he comes.
You almost find yourself rocking at the plate with him just to try to catch the timing.
Payoff pitch. Rios swats it the other way. Base hit for Rios. It's been a frustrating first couple of days of this series for him, so a good feeling there to get an opposite field single. He'd gone over his first 7 with 5 Ks before that.
Nice piece of hitting, staying on this breaking ball, elongating the swing and hitting it where it's pitched. like to see him do that more. We saw him homer the opposite way in Philadelphia, so he does have the ability and the power to do that. So obviously easier said than done when you have balls coming at you at 97 miles an hour, but it's all about the mindset and approach and staying committed.
How about the day so far for Chris Taylor? Singleton scored in the second, 2-run home run in the third. Fouls off the first one here.
Yeah, my man CT getting on top of that fastball from Josiah Gray and hitting it to the people. And a Dodger fan even catches it. That's how you rocking and rolling. But I love the swing, love the pitch recognition, and you're seeing it over the last week or so. He's starting to get more comfortable in attacking the pitches, the right pitches in the strike zone.
All the people are getting balls tonight. 4 home runs out there. It's chopped to third, backhand Franco. That's the inning. Halfway home in D.C., the Dodgers riding the home run to an 8-3 lead. 2 games, 2 home runs to nothing, 6 RBIs to nothing, and Mookie himself has scored as many runs as the Nats. That is what my friend Dontrelle likes to call
cold-blooded. This is a bad man that's locked in right now.
Top of the order, Cesar Hernandez, roller to second, Max Muncy for the first out of the 5th. How about this? Mookie Betts, those 2 home runs. You were showing this earlier on identical pitches and almost identical ball flights too.
It definitely was identical results too. And so when you go back and you look at the scouting report, it's like, I don't think that's a good pitch mix or zone to go. So we can throw that cue card out the window.
Ruiz into right field. Betts is there. A couple quick outs. Walker Buehler has restored order after giving up 2 runs on 4 hits in the first inning, walking the 8-hitter, giving up a single to the 9-hitter to start the second, and it's looking like, man, oh man, this might be a rough night for him. Well, he's retired 11 straight since those 2 base runners to open the second.
Just feels like he slowed himself down, turning into someone that really wants to execute the game plan and just follow Will's mitt. And if you're able to do that more often than not, you're going to get good results. And so, yeah, I know he wants to talk about having more velocity, but 95 is okay, especially if it's down in the zone.
2-0 on Soto.
And when you have that pitch mix of that 92-mile-an-hour cutter and then you have a sinker that runs away, you're able to tunnel and go east and west and north and south. It's just too much for the hitter to cover. You just have to work on getting ahead and staying ahead.
Got the first 2 outs of this inning on 3 pitches. Now goes 3-0 on Soto. Gonna go work on that bat a little bit.
So the hitters can have stickum, but the pitchers can't. Math ain't mathin'.
On 3-0, Soto takes a strike, 3-1. Soto's grounded to second both times, brought in a run the first time. On this 3-1, it's a curve and it's strike 2.
That was dirty. 3-1 breaking ball up 8-3.
It's his most used pitch tonight, that curve.
Throw me another whoop-a-dooper right here.
Do it for Dontrelle. He did it for Dontrelle, but missed inside in a 2-out walk. To the major league leader in walks, Juan Soto. And he kept alive for Nelson Cruz.
Got to be honest, that was too nasty of a pitch. I think as soon as Juan looked at that ball and recognized that he gave up on it and was hoping that it was a ball, and it was, but he threw that on the plate. Get his marching papers.
2 out. Nelson Cruz. Singleton scored in the first inning. Fouls off the first pitch fastball.
Good pitch. Walker said he doesn't want his sinker to necessarily sink. He wants that ball to run so he can set up the hitter, not only thinking about the ball coming in their half, but giving room away from the hitter, the right-handed batter, for the slider and for the cutter. So now he has options. Oh.
Breaks it the other direction. Barely staying alive is Cruz. It's actually the more common two-seamer, the more common sinker these days is that side-to-side moving two-seamer, playing out of the window of the popular slider.
Right. And because of the velocity, the hitter can't cover both. You know, this Cruz doing a heck of a job fighting that pitch off. This is a veteran hitter that's seen a lot of pitches, so to be able to get him out or fool him, it's going to have to be a well-executed pitch.
He's got you by a year or two, huh?
And still doing it at a high level. Meanwhile, I'm in the booth talking about shoulda, woulda, coulda, but that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. I love it.
Curve is ripped on the line to the left field corner. Foul. Not many are doing it this late into the career. It's Nelson Cruz will turn 42 on July 1st. He's the oldest player ever to hit 30 home runs in a season. 32 of them last year, split between Minnesota and Tampa Bay. He was an all-star for the 7th time.
+400 home runs. Ow. Doing it for multiple clubs, you know, bouncing around and still being a threat in the middle of the lineup for every one of those lineups.
The power and the leadership. We're talking about that a little bit yesterday. This is, he remembers back to his days when he broke in. How he told himself, when I have a chance to be the guy leading the clubhouse, I'm going to make sure everybody feels welcome.
Very important. Very important. Got a chance to be a captain for the Marlins, and it's my highest honor. You know, trusted by my peers to lead us in the right direction. It means everything. So, yeah, you want to win, you want to make a ton of money, but when your organization and your teammates believe in you to lead and perform at a high level, it means the world. So it's a good feeling.
Respect of your peers, right? Soto at first, 2 gone in an 8-3 game here in the 5th.
Obviously, we both work with Eric Karros, one of the best in our profession, and he told me how proud he was of me, and so someone I've always looked up to as a player, and only got a chance to play against him once. So the comment he made was, you know, I played against you only a few times, but you know, I know you from working on television, and you know, I'm proud of the way you prepared and your growth. And I was like, man, I almost teared up. I wanted to hug him. You know, he's not a hugger type though, but
no. That's a ground ball base hit. Soto heads up the second and stops there. Nelson Cruz with his second opposite field hit of the night.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting by Nelson, fighting off a ton of good pitches and making Walker work. Good sinker by Walker, inner half, but he's just so strong he can muscle the ball through the line of defense and be able to get himself a single.
So the inning kept alive with these two out base runners for Josh Bell. 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning.
Walker got to be careful early in the count. Josh wants to hunt the first fastball he sees to try to get this game close.
It's a breaking pitch, and it's pulled foul. You weren't kidding about him being ready for the first pitch.
Careful.
He's also one of the best hitters against high velocity in baseball so far this year.
Recognize that breaking ball up in the zone, and it lands belt high, just a little bit out in front.
What hurt, huh? His friends are
Yeah,
saying you
welcome to
should
the
have
show.
used your hat.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
One ball, one strike. Ooh.
Oh, clank, like a clank, clank.
Filthy changeup, wasn't it?
Change up at 90 miles an hour. Harder than my fastball. I mean, that's the talent that he possesses.
Opponents are 3 for 20 against that pitch this year. Buehler got first 2 outs of this inning on 3 pitches. This will be the 20th pitch since that second out. Soto walked. Cruz singled. And now 1 and 2 on Josh Bell. 8-3 bottom of the 5th.
Oh, good pitch.
Good job by Bell to stay alive, swatting that changeup down the line.
Changeup caught more plate than he wanted to do. That's a pitch almost you want him to see it and then bounce in the dirt.
Fastball is lifted to center field. Taylor is there, and that's the inning. We've played 5 in Washington, D.C. Dodgers 8, Nationals 3. Four home runs for the Dodgers over the first 4 innings of this game. 2 of them coming from Mookie Betts, who now leads the National League with a dozen this year. Trey Turner hit the first one. Chris Taylor's got the other. 8-3 they lead it. 9-1 and 2 coming up here in the 6th inning against Josh Rogers. Lux walked and lined out. He takes high here. 2 balls, no strikes. A pop up, and at third it's Maikel Franco. 1 away in the 6th inning. Bring up Mookie Betts. 2 home runs already under his belt. 12 of them this season. We've talked about this many times over his couple of years in Dodger blue, but the idea that good has kind of never been good enough for him. You know, a few years into his big league career, he at this point has already been an all-star a couple times. He'd gotten MVP votes. He was firmly established as one of the really good players in the American League. So what did he do? He overhauled his swing, because being one of the really good players in the American League for him wasn't enough. He thought that he was still hitting too many ground balls. He thought that he could hit for more power. And he realized that at that time, he had some good guys to learn from. He's watching J.D. Martinez, who Boston just picked up, seeing the way that he is lifting the ball and pulling the ball with power. And so Mookie Betts, who had already arrived, continued to test the limits of what he could become. Soon after, he was an MVP. Now here he is in 2022, looking again like that player.
Never being satisfied. That's how good players turn into great players, transcending players and working their way into the Hall of Fame.
Over a leaping bell, base hit the other way. He just keeps on doing it. Opposite field base hit, third knock of the night.
I mean, you can see the frustration on Rogers' face. He executes the pitch. You know, he throws the changeup where he wants to. And Mookie being top hand strong, fighting the other way. And as you were explaining, that might have been a situation early in his Boston career where he might have tried to pull that baseball and hit it on the ground for an easy out. But pitch recognition and trust, and also the understanding of how pitchers are going to attack him after he hits 2 pulled home runs into the stands.
Freddie Freeman now will lift this one foul. The Betts, who is hitting final days of April 190, is up to 292. Leading the league with 12 home runs. And to think he's doing it at the sport that was his third choice as a kid. It was basketball and bowling before it was baseball when he was growing up. Basketball, bowling, baseball. Been bowling since he was 4. Basketball, he loved Kobe, loved Allen Iverson. He's a big Eric Snow guy too, kind of randomly. 1-2 on Freeman.
Point guard, right?
Yeah,
I remember him. Yeah. Point guard. Had a really solid career, actually.
Yeah. Remember Michigan State Spartan. Mookie held out hope that he would grow enough to be like those guys playing the NBA. But he says kind of learn to love baseball, where baseball is third. Loved his hoops, loved to go bowling. That's kind of the family sport that his mom brought him along in. But he said, baseball taught me how to love unconditionally. He said it beats you up, causes you to fail. But if you want to be good, you've got to love it. Got to love it anyways. You got to keep on coming back. You got to keep on working at it. And the unconditional love that baseball taught him is why his third choice became the sport that he's making a living off of.
A good living at that, by the way. But that's the mindset of Mookie Betts, enjoying competing, enjoying getting better. And you've heard him talk early in the season about just being a better human for himself, you know, and being at peace with things. And so that's a guy right there that's enjoying this life and the blessings of being a big league ball player and one of the best in the game.
Sharply hit, but right at Fracco. Goes to second one, back to first late. Freeman aboard on the fielder's choice.
Are you ready for the ultimate all-star fan experience? Well, come out to Capital One Play Ball Park at MLB Live in downtown LA, July 16th through the 19th. There's something for every member in the family. For tickets and more information, visit allstargame.com.
Dodgers up 8-3, 6th inning. Freeman aboard for Trey Turner, who had a 27-game on-base streak from late last season through early this season. He now has a 16-game hitting streak.
I have to get a couple of these guys in his lineup some clothes. Everybody's shrieking in the lineup, and Mookie's shrieking, he's shrieking. I mean, it's just, they're obnoxiously good, and I mean that respectfully. Like, they possess so much talent, and they enjoy playing off each other though. And so when you're facing this lineup, especially when they're locked in, it's like he's up again. Like, seems like every day Mookie's hitting lead off in the second inning for his second at bat. So if you give those guys 5 at bats a game, they're going to shake hands a lot.
Yeah, so the guy's going streaky. And you got Betts has scored a run in 12 games in a row. Turner, the 16-game hitting streak. After him, Will Smith, a 14-game on base streak. 3-1. To the quad.
JD, you my man. You my man.
This is a 3-1 pitch.
Good pass right
Full
there.
count. He takes the walk. 4th Dodger walk of the game to go along with a hit batter. So it's not just been the hits, of which they have 8, 4 of them home runs, but Nationals all over the place too. This is shaping up to be a really long year, and the 3rd one in a row since they won the world title. Back-to-back last place finishes. They were 95 or 65 and 97 last year. And David Martinez, who is in his 5th season, is the World Championship manager. This is far from that team, though. It's a little high on Will Smith.
A couple things that stand out to me about this roster that got to keep some key guys healthy, especially in that rotation. You might have to go the Philadelphia route and try to sign some veteran relievers to kind of put some stability back there, because I don't see it changing within the structure of the division and how talented the Mets are, obviously, and the Phillies revamping down there in their bullpen, and obviously athletic with Bryce Harper, but you can't stop people from scoring. You're not going to shake hands a lot.
And so it makes full sense what they're doing, right? It is the time to rebuild. Just that'll make it any more fun for Nationals fans or the Nationals to go through. And the other thing is that, yeah, it makes sense when you look at the standings for them to rebuild and kind of where they're at with their roster. But you also look and see that we talked about last night. For the next 5 years, they have $258 million tied up in 2 pitchers. Patrick Corbin, who has really struggled. Steven Strasburg, who hasn't pitched. He's only started 7 games the last 2+ years.
Hinders them, especially
very much.
Going to try to get someone, a veteran, to put in the middle of the rotation, or a veteran, another bat around Soto, or a couple talented arms that are experienced in the bullpen. Not as many people are coming to the games, so it's tough.
Ball 4 for Smith. Pitcher's pretty close, but Ruiz unable to squeeze it. Rogers doesn't get the call. Bases loaded up for Max Muncy, and time for a word from Morongo.
The Marketplace by Fabio Viviani, now open.
I got a feeling I know what you'd like to see Muncy do here. Carl Edwards.
Keep battling, Maxie. Just keep battling. Do your best every time to give a quality at bat.
I thought you were going to talk about getting his foot down.
No, that's built in. You got to get your foot down, and I'm not worried about that. Stay aggressive. It's tough, though, when you're struggling and struck out an early part of the game at a fastball. That was at the letters. So you're just talking to yourself right now like, come on, come on. Get yourself in a good count. You know they're going to attack me. You know they're going to come after me. So everybody in the dugout saying the same thing for you.
Got the bases loaded. 2 gone in the 6th. Trying to break this thing wide open. Good pitch from Rogers. Strike 1. Watches it spin away, and he's ahead. 2 balls and 1 strike. Turner waits on deck. On a 2-1 pitch, Max Muncy watches ball 3 and nowhere to put him.
This is right in an opponent at the bat where I'm yelling, get it ready. Get it ready. He's got to come across the plate. Be aggressive. Ooh, I like your attitude, though. Like your attitude right there. He was trying to hit that ball to Langley. I like that. I like that. It's all right.
Here comes a payoff. Muncy watches ball 4. Picks up an RBI with a bases loaded walk. His 2nd walk of the game, the 3rd in a row issued by Rogers, which will spell the end of his night. So the Dodgers have scored in 5 of these 6 innings. They lead 9-3. And Carl Edwards, it appears, is going to come on to face Justin Turner with the bases still loaded. Jack in the Box. Try Jack's $5.99 popcorn chicken combos with 100% all white meat chicken and Jack's good sauce. Order now on the Jack app or have it delivered. How about the SoCal BMW Centers? BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Dodgers all over the Nationals after beating them 10-1 in the first game. They're up 9-3 here in game 2, and Carl Edwards replaces Josh Rogers, who walks 3 in a row, walks in a run. And Edwards on to face Justin Turner. A little bit high, 1-0.
I think Edwards wanted that pitch, especially trying to get ahead, change eye level.
Started the 4th pitcher for Davey Martinez tonight. Josiah Gray just 3 innings in his first game against his old team. Morano went 1 inning. Rogers went 1 2/3. Edwards trying to get him in the dugout here in the 6th. For Justin Turner, he's 0 for 2. He got hit by a pitch and scored. He's got Turner at 3rd, Smith at 2nd, Muncy at 1st. He's got a 2-0 count. Nice pass, fouled off, 2-1.
JT getting his foot down early, trying to really break this game open with one swing.
Ball 3. Eight hits, 6 walks through 5+. Nowhere to put Turner as Edwards gets ready for this 3-1. Fouls it off and the count is full.
Just got a little bit long with the swing. Tried to charge at that fastball and elevate.
All 3 will get a head start as Turner watches strike 3. But they add another. Muncy with the bases loaded walk in the middle of the 6th. It's 9-3. Coverage in the game. It's 9-3 Dodgers. Plenty of Dodger blue there enjoying this.
Oh,
Datra loves the babies.
love the little babies.
Walker Buehler goes back to work. That is ball 1 on Yadiel Hernandez. Washington got 3 runs in the first inning against Buehler. Nothing since.
Pitch.
Bouncing ball to second. Muncy circles around to get Hernandez as Buehler tries to join Justin Verlander as the major league's only 6-game winners at this stage. Logan Webb's going to try to do the same thing for the Giants tonight as they take on the Mets. It's amazing, you know, earlier we're poking holes in the season Buehler's having and the way that the fastball's not been the same. He's not been the same yet. Here he is on the verge of going to 6-1 with an ERA below 3.
Being able to make adjustments in game, understand what he has command with and what side of the plate he trusts himself with. And you saw about 2nd and 3rd innings start to flutter in that whooper duper to just steal strikes and calm himself down and get a little feel early in the count. Started to mix in some 2-seamers and change-ups and work to that arm side of the plate.
Ahead of Franco 0-2. We got 8 innings from Tyler Anderson last night, setting the bullpen up beautifully for the rest of this series. After a tough weekend in Philadelphia where that bullpen was heavily used. Came at a good time. Those 8 innings. And now Buehler, after the first inning struggles, trying to finish off 6. He's home with an 0-2 to Franco. Tomahawks a high fastball. Trey Turner. Tua. Lane Thomas 0 for 5 in this series, 3 strikeouts. First one from Buehler. Dips a little bit low. One. It's the latest solid outing for Buehler against these Nationals. Came into the game with a 1.69 ERA against them all time. That included 2 starts in the division series in 2019. He gave up just 1 run in those 2 starts. Bouncing ball that backs up Justin Turner, and that finishes off 6 innings for Buehler. 9-3, Dodgers in front to the late innings in D.C.
Party on Friday, June 3rd, when the Dodgers host the Mets, presented by Blue Shield of California. The special ticket pack features an exclusive Dodgers LGBTQ+ themed jersey. This package is only available at Dodgers.com/LAPride.
All right, Kirsten, Carl Edwards back to work against Edwin Rios. First pitch breaking ball, top of the zone, strike one. So Walker Buehler finishes off 6 innings. Dave Roberts over there for a handshake at 92 pitches, and with a 6-run lead, that's going to do it for him.
Way to battle, big fella, tonight. Didn't have his best stuff, but once he settled in, business as usual. A lot of pluses, though, you can take from this start and say, did a good job settling in and sequencing. Also, just mound tempo. I felt like he was a little bit rushed, a little bit fast in the first couple innings.
Rios down looking. Well, I mean, last 2 starts, and if you include the first inning tonight, as David Price begins to warm to take over for Buehler, not at his very best, yet he's going to come out of it 2-0. And the team had a chance to win the other one where he didn't have it at all.
Right.
And I've heard you talk about it. I've heard Oral talk about it. There aren't going to be that many nights where you are at your best. What's going to separate the good guys from the great guys is what do you do on those nights where you do not have your very best stuff.
Mid-game adjustments and being humble enough to realize your adjustments before the game gets away. But a B+ Walker Buehler beats 95% of starters in baseball. So even when he doesn't have his best velocity or command, he stays in the game. He's still going to be able to be valuable.
Been a great night for Chris Taylor. Got a 2-run home run. Singleton scored. Dodgers lead 9-3 here. If they can hang on, they'll have a chance at a sweep tomorrow behind Julio Urias at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock LA time. That's a swing and a miss. 2 out on a couple Ks for Edwards. Took the train from Philly to DC. They will not be taking the train from DC to Phoenix.
That's a long ride if they did.
Yeah. Make game time hard to get. They need that bullet train from Japan. Just don't ask you to hop on it, right?
First and last time experiencing that.
2 out for Lux.
JD, this is our last call together on this trip?
For a little bit.
Oh, man.
We can FaceTime and stuff.
Oh, my man.
Spot 1 on Lux. We're excited to welcome Darren Sutton to Dodger broadcast tomorrow. One ball, 1 strike. It's foul and it's 1-2. You are going to head back to the studio after this road trip. It'll be a while before you're back in the living the road life.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I lived the road life, and it's been a fun experience, and you guys have been great to me. The team's been great to me. And like I said, I've never seen so many ice cream sandwiches flying around on a plane in my life, so gonna miss it for the next couple of weeks.
Lux fights that ball off back to Edwards. I'm sorry we didn't stock our closet here in El Segundo full of ice cream sandwiches for you, but I know you understand each rain.
I get it.
9-3, Price coming in for the bottom of the 7th. Washington, D.C. Dodgers all over the Nationals in this one with a 9-3 lead to the last of the 7th, looking for their 9th win out of their last 10 games. Into the bullpen they go after 6 strong innings from Walker Buehler. Here's David Price.
Nice to see DP continue to get some work. He'll be important in this long, grueling stretch of games they have. 31 games in 30 days, I believe. So he's going to get a ton of opportunity to be able to work in the middle part of the games or in games that they just need to bridge together out. So it's going to be good for him.
D. Strange Gordon will lead off this inning for the Nationals against the lefty David Price. Well, we've heard stories of kids being made to be left-handed, right? Duke Snyder's dad made him a left-handed hitter. Max Muncy's dad did the same thing for Max when he read about Duke. Rich Hill's brother taped his right arm behind his back so he'd throw with his left hand. Well, David's dad, Bonnie, thought it was strange that his youngest boy was doing everything with his left hand. So David's dad tried to get him to be a righty so he could be like the rest of the family, not be the weird guy who's throwing with his left hand, doing everything with his left hand. I think thankfully Bonnie failed at that. Under Turner's glove.
With D. Gordon's speed, that would have been a tough play even if he's able to come up with that ball clean. I think Trey's eyes off. Took off the baseball and looked at see where D was up the line.
It's ruled a base hit for Gordon. Leadoff man on against Price. Back to the top of the order and Cesar Hernandez.
Yeah, being left-handed, it's a young boy, you have your marker, and all of a sudden you look at the bottom of the side of your hand and it's all the colors streaming together, and you know, so had to learn kind of how to write with your hand
looking around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fly the other way, no big deal for Mookie Betts. Hernandez the first out of the 7th. David is the youngest of 3 boys, by far the youngest out of the 3. So he's got a brother named Jackie who is 54. He's got a brother named Damon who's 46. 10 years after Damon was born, David came along. His parents said they're a little surprised. They're a little surprised lefty. There's Gabriel Ruiz with a runner at first and 1 away. But Damon, even though he was 10 years older, he used to let David play in all his games and toughened him up. Never lowered the hoop for him, never took it easy on him. Basketball, baseball, bowling, whatever it was they were doing. Price family was always competing. David was always playing up. I think we're all kind of a product of where we came from. And David would tell you that that upbringing is a big part of what has made him the major leaguer that he's become.
Totally agree with that. You know, my mom's the oldest of 4 children, and my uncles used to beat up on me at the basketball courts in Oakland. And
Ruiz with the base hit to left center.
nice piece of hitting by Ruiz to stay on that changeup. Good changeup, better hitting by Ruiz. Stay through that baseball. Only left-handed person in my family growing up, so they knew that I kind of loved baseball, and I think my family, especially my grandmother, got tired of me throwing that ball beside the house and just hearing that constant bang and bang, and said, if you're gonna do it right. So grandfather used to take me with my uncles, and we used to play a game called Strikeout, and they used to hit bullets off me, which I got accustomed to in the big leagues, obviously. But yeah, you need that. Helps with the toughness growing up and the grind and learning that you have to earn what you keep.
1-0 on Juan Soto, whose early baseball memories are of going to Dominican Winter League games with his dad, falling in love with the environment, the atmosphere there. Had a Price 2-0. Started taking his bat with him everywhere, and his dad would flip him anything he could find. He'd flip him seeds, he'd flip him coins, he'd flip him bottle caps, building that hand-eye coordination at an early age. Get runners at first and second, one gone in the 7th inning. He takes a strike, and it's 2-1 as Price continues to stay soft on Soto.
Lefty on lefty changeup. Rare that you see that, but as David Price has evolved as a talented reliever, that's a pitch that he has to mix in just to keep them off balance. My aunt moved to Pasadena when I was a little boy, and I remember the first time I went to a Dodger game, and we sat in row ZZ, and it was cold and windy, and got me a Dodger dog, and I was just so fired up. And I remember telling her as a young boy, I want to play here, and she looked at me like, yeah, just eat your nachos, you'll be all right, you know what I mean? And so she got a chance to see her nephew pitch. They had better seats too.
Upgraded her from ZZ to Z.
See Nomar hit a home run off me and then sign a bat ever so gently. I mean, can't hit a guy like that. You know what I mean? Nomar is one of the best and one of the good guys in the league. But I always enjoy playing in Dodger Stadium, even as an opponent. It's the cathedral of baseball for California baseball players. No matter if you're from Northern California or Southern, you want to be able to say you played at Dodger Stadium.
What was that like as a visiting player when that place got going?
Daunting. But one of the coolest memories I've had is Eric Gagne coming out of the bullpen and just seeing our whole dugout sitting on the top step and hearing the music and seeing the crowd just galvanizes. Like, man, this is LA. This is cool. Not cool what he's doing to us, but this is cool.
Here's into the payoff to Soto. It's foul again. That was one of the all-time dominant stretches that Eric Gagne put together.
Man. Lenny Harris actually broke his streak, and I hit after Lenny Harris, and I remember Eric Gagne, and I get a chance to golf with him because we live by each other in Arizona, and I honestly thought he's going to kill me. He just had this look. Good pitch.
To get Soto looking. David Price strikes out Juan Soto. 2 away in the 7th.
Good slider down in the zone. Well executed against a tough hitter. That doesn't chase often, but DP turned back the clock on him.
Two on, two out. Nelson Cruz in a 9-3 game.
Old man hitting 92 miles an hour, feeling good. Love to see it.
At the moment, he's feeling pretty young facing Nelson Cruz, though.
Yeah, the elder statesman. I don't know. DP got some great growing in there, too. Everybody got the salt and pepper, including me.
Sage matchup.
I got tired of plucking him.
Just lean into it, huh? Cruz over a leaping defender into center. Strange Gordon's headed home. Taylor's throw goes to third. It's 9-4 as Nelson Cruz drives home the run.
Veteran Cruz continuing to get polished at bats and giving everybody in the Dodgers staff fits thus far. And another base hit. I thought that pitch was well executed, but he's just strong enough to be able to muscle balls into the outfield.
Third hit of the day, all of them singles the other way, and he's knocked in 2. Still 2 away. Josh Bell, the switch hitter, flips over to the right side. Been switch hitting since he was 5 years old in T-ball when his dad Ernest said, listen, son, this is going to help you get to where you want to go. Have you seen Ernest Bell?
No, I have not.
He is jacked out of his mind. And so Josh had no choice. It's a stolen base for Ruiz. Yes, sir, Dad. You want me to switch hit?
And listen.
I ain't arguing you. Cruz took second there in the double steal.
Well, Josh ain't little either now. He get the front seat in the car. That's for sure.
Off-season workout partner these days for Josh Bell.
Yeah, well, Pop's going to make you do an extra set.
He was a football and track star at Southern University. It's a bouncer foul. It's 1-2. Popped out of his hand there. Count evens 2-2 on Bell. Another 2-2 from David Price, and another foul ball off of the bat of Josh Bell.
Good slider, just needed that a little more down and in to get under the swing path of Bell.
Ruiz and Cruz both singled. Double steal has him at second and third. Finally gets him. Fastball turned up to 93 for David Price. And after 7 innings, 9-4. The game. Mookie Betts has gone deep twice. 2 of the 4 home runs for the Dodgers tonight.
Yeah. Man had fun squaring up baseballs and putting them in the seats, and when you make a mistake to Mookie inner half, that's what happens.
Also added a single, so he's 3 for 4. He's reached in 7 of his 9 plate appearances in the 2 games in this series. He's going to face off with a new pitcher. Kyle Finnegan comes on for the Nationals. It's 9-4 Los Angeles. So Mookie with his 2 home runs, he already has 6 career 3 home run games, which is tied for the most in baseball history with Sammy Sosa and Johnny Mize.
Wow.
So, buckle up.
Why not? Water's fine. Come on in. Why not?
Brusdar Graterol beginning to get ready. For Finnegan, just careful throwing a backup slider. Huh?
Away.
It does. Strike 1.
Make him beat you the other way. But he has power to all fields, so.
1 ball, 1 strike. The 29-year-old Mookie Betts in his 9th major league season. Be a Dodger through 2032. All started in 2014, so he made his big league debut when he was 21 years old. Debuted at Yankee Stadium. Grounded into a double play in his first at-bat. He singled in his next at-bat. And that first year was one of the lone bright spots, one of the worst Boston teams in a long time. Went from bright spot to one of the young stars of the game within his first couple years. On a 2-1 from Finnegan, Betts takes ball 3.
Mookie's just pure class. You know, does everything the right way, plays the game the right way, a phenomenal teammate, even well respected as an opponent. You know, every time you see him get on first base, everyone's always just jawing at him. Really one of the great faces of our game.
Swings and misses, 3-2. Remember the 1 out that he made tonight? Because he's 3 for 4 at this point.
I don't.
Crushed to center field. First batter of the game. It's just as hard hit as his 2 home runs. Lineout was 105 off of the bat, which is actually harder than the 2 home runs. Payoff pitch.
Now that we know, I think that line out was a sign of the times for the ball game, especially for Josiah having a difficult time navigating the lineup without giving up a lot of hard contact.
The Dodgers hit a home run in each of the first 4 innings against Gray. Another payoff pitch to Mookie Betts.
Him, Justin, CT, you could tell that their pitch recognition is starting to get better because the passes and the swings are getting better. More aggressive, if you will.
This is the 8th pitch. And it's taken for ball 4. He's on for the 4th time tonight. He's on for the 8th time in 10 plate appearances in this series. Let's check in with Kirsten.
Well, guys, as much as Mookie's had the hot bat, the plan for him is that he will be down tomorrow. This is, however, is tentative just on how Cody Bellinger is feeling. You mentioned earlier today that he is just a little bit under the weather. The hope is that he'll be back tomorrow, allowing for Mookie Betts to get a day off in this stretch of games, guys.
All right, Kirsten, not an easy thing for Dave Roberts to do, but playing the long games and keep you healthy for the full season. As hot as the hand is right now.
I love Dave Roberts, but that's a tough lineup card to fill out for tomorrow with a man as hot as Mookie.
Strike 1 on Freeman.
Yeah, that's why he gets paid the big bucks. I don't know how it makes it. I'll give you. We got a long flight back to Arizona. You can rest on the plane. Oh man.
Freeman had 3 hits last night. He's 0 for 3 tonight, but has scored a couple runs. Scored 4 runs in the 2 games. Two and 1. Underway in both San Diego and San Francisco. Padres and Brewers. Blake Snell for the Padres. Corbin Burns for the Brewers. And Logan Webb for the Giants against Chris Bassett for the Mets.
I'll need Chris Bassett and Corbin Burns to throw some gems. Be nice. A couple 10 strikeout piece. No coleslaw. Be nice to see.
Fries crispy.
Please believe. Oh.
High drive the other way towards the corner. Hernandez tracks it down. Back to first goes Betts. One away in the 8th.
Thought that was another round tripper where it came off that bat. Nobody hits the ball with authority better than Freddie Freeman, but just needed a little more stretch.
1-on-1 out for Trey Turner, who started the home run surge for the Dodgers tonight with a 2-run shot in the first. He's walked since.
3 home runs, 34 RBIs. Wow.
Top 5 in the league. Those runs batted in for Turner. Ground ball to third. To second, 1 and 2. You got to be pretty perfect to double off Trey Turner. Turner's saying hold on. Dodgers saying wait. Let's see.
Safe.
Yeah. So this is going to be a fielder's choice.
Los Angeles is challenging the outlaw at first base.
Should be a quick one.
Never know with New York, though.
That's true.
Never.
That's why I said should.
Yeah.
Now will be a quick one.
I'm still scratching my head about that Realmuto slide in the second and the tag by Gavin, and seeing the fingers literally bend back from the glove tag. It's like, what kind of flat screens we watching?
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is safe. Los Angeles retains their challenge.
One of those big, like 2 feet deep box flat screens, the old big screen TVs that stood on the floor. Maybe they have those.
I got mom's that.
Did you?
Back in the day from Circuit City. It was 6-inch box, and she said, we living, L-I-V-I-N. We living now.
You pick up like some remote control cars and stuff while you're there too.
Man, see, there you
City.
go. I see where you're going with it. I see where you're going. She was excited.
I bet.
She was excited. First thing I bought with my draft money was that from Mom.
Wow.
Circuit City. That TV was bigger than our whole living room. Everybody was watching it.
Big screen to watch Big Dontrell when he got to the majors.
Absolutely.
Will Smith, who has a single and a walk tonight. Pops up the first pitch. Josh Bell and Cesar Hernandez. It's Bell, and we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Dodgers look to win 2 straight versus the Nationals, and what a night yet again for Mookie Betts. Jay Hare.
Mookie, can't you see? Sometimes them swings just hypnotize me.
As D-Train says, how do you give him a day off? Back to you guys.
Jay here and no more. I love those guys.
Here's Brusdar Graterol for the bottom of the 8th inning. Dodgers have 5 strikeouts. They need 5 more to get you your jumbo jack.
They got to get on it, though.
Yeah, 6 outs.
Yeah, we got the right man on the mound, but we got to get on it now, because Train ain't gonna be happy if them fries soggy. See a different side.
I don't want to see that, Dontrell. I don't want to. Now, Gratterall coming off a very impressive outing in Philadelphia. He had 2 perfect innings on Saturday. He'd given up a run in 3 games in a row, so trying to settle back in, and he was very sharp against a good Phillies lineup. It's high for ball 1 on Yadiel Hernandez.
Saw him work both sides of the plate, especially with that high velocity sinker, and then mixed in the nasty slider. Gratterall, another guy that is not little.
It's ball 3 on Hernandez. Brusdar is listed at 6'1", 265.
I got the over on that.
It is a solid 265.
Absolutely. Yeah, he
It's a leadoff walk.
He gave me a hug, and I had to kind of redirect my feet so he didn't pick me off the ground, you know. I said, wow. Makes sense why he can command the fastball like he does on a consistent basis with that type of high level velocity.
Leadoff man aboard in a 9-4 game here in the 8th inning. Strike 1. I've heard you talk very fondly about your mother. You know that Brusdar's mom is responsible for getting him into baseball. She was a softball pitcher. His mom and his grandma, softball pitchers for a team called the Angelinas. Mom was the starter. Grandma was the closer. She'd come in and slam the door.
How about that? My mother was the catcher, and even up until my big league days, you know.
She caught you?
Yeah, when I was younger, and that's when we used to go to A's games all the time. I grew up in a place called Fruitvale, which is 2 exits away from Oakland Coliseum, and then end up moving to a town called Alameda, California, which is right next door. And she was always at my high school games critiquing me, and then thought she could yell at me. And the reason why I was happy to get to the big leagues where the stands were a little more farther, that I couldn't hear her as much yelling at me and stuff. So
I bet you could still hear her.
Absolutely. I knew my career was in trouble when she stopped picking me on her fantasy baseball team. She was like, I don't know, Dontrelle. Adam Wainwright is still there.
That is Franco saying off his foot. The initial ruling, it appears, from the crew is that it wasn't. They called that thing as if it was in play in the double play. Now the crew's going to get together. Let's see. Let's judge it ourselves. That was definitely off his foot.
Off the bunion.
Maybe knocked it right off. Bunion surgery. I think he pointed to it.
You got to sell that limp, though. He didn't sell it.
Foul ball. Got it right. Got the bunion.
Mom used to yell at me, why can't you get Chipper Jones out? I said, Mom, he's hitting 340. No one can get him out. Mom, I'm trying my best.
Does she have advice for you, too? As you're
trying
to get...
goodness. How you holding that slider? It's like, Mom, I just called to tell you I love you.
101, bounce to the hole at short. Turner gets the out at second, and they turn a double play. Wow. So this one not off his bunion. It's in play and played by Trey Turner. 6-4-3.
I like where you're going with that, JD, but this is a nice turn. Great heads-up play by Maxey to give himself time to come off the bag and give a solid throw to first base. Nice turn.
So that wipes the bases clean. 2 gone in the 8th inning for Lane Thomas. Paulo Espino pitched in last night's game. Looks like he'll pitch in tonight's game as well.
Good pitch. A 100 sinking.
Gratterall, the whiff rate on that sinker, because it's never been a swing and miss pitch, but it's double what it was last year.
Starting to see some depth change like that one before. Usually it just kind of rides and doesn't get off the barrel is the term.
Also the implementation of the cutter.
Yeah, it needs that. Start working going east to west, and now. Ooh,
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Angry movement, D-Train.
You don't got to be so mean, G-Money. Wow. And a nice little skip off the mound. Give thanks.
One more game in the nation's capital. 1 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. Rios for the Dodgers, Fedde for the Nationals, and then a 4-game series with Arizona to wrap up this 3-city road trip. Trying to move to 4-1 on the trip tonight. Looking for their 9th win out of their last 10 games. Max Muncy heads up there. He's 0 for 2, but he's walked twice, and he'll face off with Paulo Espino.
JD, I'm not counting, but I would really like to know my record on the game calls.
Oh, you definitely
rocking and rolling. I kind of feel like a 8-2 piece, 9-2 piece. Gave away one of those games, but not counting. But I'm just saying, like when your boy's on the call, you shake hands.
Take that to arbitration, buddy. Max Muncy grounds one along first. Josh Bell will feed Espino. Take that to Lon Rosen.
Lon, talk to me. Talk to me, baby. Nah, I don't mess with Lon. No, I take that back, sir. I apologize. I act right. I'm sorry. I want to make sure my keys still work tomorrow.
Here's Turner. You keep having fun. We'll bring you back, win or loss, big fella.
I appreciate it.
Rick Krajewski, who is the Mike Trout of stats, says if they win tonight, they'll be 8-3 in Dontrell games.
Yeah. Come on now.
Turner's 0 for 3. Look out. Looks like he maybe didn't see that thing until the last moment.
Yeah.
Scary.
Wasn't a fastball, just a breaking ball that got away from him. Espino trying to spin it. Still not fun in that area.
Two and one.
Love how our Mike Trout of stats, Pretty Ricky over there, letting you know that I gave away 2 games in Pittsburgh. I take responsibility of that.
The team appreciates that.
Yeah, I'll take responsibility.
2-2. Franco with an easy hop. 2 away in the 9th inning.
What did Rick tell us today? That he was a 2-time all-conference pitcher. He kind of flexed on me. He had to flex on me too, you know. That's cute. You're a 2-time all-star. I was 2-time all-conference.
Yeah.
That's cute. It's cute.
Here's Rios. Then he's challenging you to go back of the building. He's going to try to get you out.
He don't want that smoke. There's a Big 5 Sporting Goods right around the corner. He can get it all he wants.
Rios looking for his 2nd hit of the game. 1 for 8 in this series. Got a single back in the 5th. 3 strikeouts though. That's back-to-back 3 strikeout games for him. On an 0-1 pitch. Grounds it foul. 0-2. Two from Espino to Rios is hit off the hands into short left field. It'll dunk in for Rios' 2nd hit of the game.
Boy, nice piece of hitting. Fighting off a fastball in their half. And a good one, especially being able to jam him. But again, so strong, pulling those hands through and getting himself another knock.
9th of the game for the Dodgers. 9 runs on 9 hits. 7 walks. Chris Taylor has 2 of those hits. He's got 1 of the 4 home runs.
1 hit a day keeps the hitting coach away, so breathe a little easier when you're able to get a couple knocks.
Frisbee pitch, cut on and miss. Dodgers trying to get to 29 wins, trying to hand the Nationals their 30th loss. They'd be the first team in the majors to suffer their 30th defeat. Whooper duper foul. Just rolls off the tongue.
I love it. I love it. I heard you on the home telecast one time say like D-Train says, they drive nice cars too.
Say an impression of me.
I said, oh my man, JD, attaboy.
1-2. How about the Boston Red Sox tonight? They're in the 5th inning against the White Sox. 16 runs on 18 hits. It's the 5th inning. Wow. Yeah.
You look at that lineup though, and you're like, you kind of been waiting for them to break out. You know. Trevor Story is starting to get his foot down over there, big time.
He homered again tonight.
Yeah, he's starting to bring the Rockies over.
6 home runs and 16 RBIs in his last 5 games.
Yeah, that sounds like some Justin Turner numbers as far as, you know, when he gets hot, man, and that wall is too close for him.
Swing and a miss from Taylor as Espino drops it all the way down to 72, and we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. On Saturday is going to look to go 2 innings to finish this game off. 9-4, Dodgers in front on the strength of a bunch of early home runs. 1 in each of the first 4 innings. They've scored 19 runs in the 2 games in this series. Steve Strange Gordon at the bottom of the lineup to lead things off for the Nats. After some high stress games with the Phillies, when you look back to the 4-game series at Dodger Stadium, include the final game on Sunday, it's been nice to have a couple, relatively speaking, laughers here.
Well, I think it motivated them, you know, and sometimes you need that.
Once he can't get there, Gordon has his 3rd knock.
As a talented ball club that everything was going well for them on the mound and at the plate, and then you have some adversity, it just sends another shock. Like, hey, we have to continue to do our job and stay focused, and not say they were unfocused, but it's just saying that, hey, man, you know, we're going to get everybody's best fight, and if we don't bring it, this can happen. It's been scary hours ever since those 33 runs they gave up at home.
Cesar Hernandez fights that pitch off, and he'll have to go get a new bat to continue fighting. Scary hours are a good thing, right?
I mean, that's been the discussion about this Dodger club. Their lineup has not really reached their full potential, and they're still scoring runs at a 6-7 run a night clip. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Hernandez into right center field. Betts with the call and the catch, and the first out of the 9th.
The catcher,
Up comes Ruiz with a runner at first and 1 away. The Dodgers are the only team in baseball averaging 5 runs per game, and they're over 5.5. Average team averages just over 4.
Well, as you can see, this ain't no average team.
Yeah, it is for sure.
This is not an average organization.
Strike on Ruiz.
They're not playing for their average city. This is Los Angeles. So I think as a club and as an organization, they understand that it's all or nothing, which is a good thing.
Bouncing ball to first. Freeman guns to second. 1. Turner back to first, not in time. But they get out number 2 here in the 9th inning. Trying to hunt down their 2nd world championship over the last 3 years. Trying to get back on top in the division. It'd be a 9th division title in 10 years. They've won 3 of the last 5 pennants. You're right, the goal is very simple. Division title, nice. Pennant, nice. World Series, what it's all about. 2 away, 9th inning. One more look at Juan Soto tonight. Ball 1 from Gratterall.
Kind of excited for this matchup right here.
Looks like Soto is too. Got that little smile on his face like he often does. 1-1.
Had to nod at that backdoor whooper dooper right there. It's like, okay, all right. Soto trying to gear up for that triple digits.
Trey Turner, who is good buddies with Juan Soto, said that outside of being with Juan's friends and family, Juan's favorite thing in the world, his favorite place in the world, is that batter's box. Transforms.
You can tell.
Charming, humble, polite, normal guy outside of the box, away from the field, but he gets in that box and transforms into a beast.
Got to be a dog. You don't get to this level if you're not. Everyone. Enjoy competing against the best in the world. It's a true honor.
2-2. Full count. Soto takes the walk and keeps things going for the Nats. It's going to give Nelson Cruz another opportunity on a night where the guy that's hit more home runs than anybody over the last decade has gone the other way for 3 singles and knocked in 2.
Just a professional hitter. Knows how to hit in certain situations. Sometimes you see him go up there with no batting gloves, just trying to feel himself out. And this is Savant in the box.
Fly to center field. Drifting over to right. Mookie Betts is there, and the Dodgers take another one from the Nationals. 9-4 the final scores. They scored 19 runs over the first 2 games of this series.
Yeah, the long ball played huge today. Mookie having a nice evening. But nice to see the group to continue to play clean baseball, throw strikes, and be good with runners in scoring position.
So the Dodgers improved to 29-13. They get their 9th win out of their last 10 games. Walker Buehler picks up his 6th win, joining Justin Verlander for the major league lead. And a night where they hit 4 home runs. Mookie Betts hits 2 of them, takes over the National League lead. It's a 9-4 win for Dontrell and Kirsten. Joe Davis saying so long from D.C. The series wraps up at 1 o'clock tomorrow.